Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 52nd episode of the Sensational ArtaCast. I forgot it last week to say the Sensational ArtaCast. People said to me, "You have to say Sensational ArtaCast." Of course, I have to say the Sensational ArtaCast returns. And yeah, with another week of this time is always like the most exciting time. Probably we got reveals. We get reveals every day, a lot of them, and we probably will be revealed with soon with every card of the new set. And then the new brewings season begins, and the competition about who has the first tier one deck begins. And yeah, first of all, I want to thank you, everyone. We got a lot of comments and stuff in for the last episode, and people were glad we are back, and it felt really good to read, of course, and we are happy. I think you can agree. We are happy that we got so much, yeah, how can I say, confirmation, or you can say that. So thanks for that, and we will continue. And yeah, in the meanwhile, since last week we got a lot of reveals, and we will today just, we both, yeah, just look for cards that we find interesting to talk about, and either of us has just a bunch of cards he wants to talk about. And yeah, I'm very excited. LD, how are you? And how's your? We have by time recording, we have I think like two thirds, or how you can say that, yeah, like most of the cards are revealed, and but not everything. And what is your impression right now for the cards that are revealed? Do you think the meta will shake up? Probably always will shake up. And what's your impression for the cards?
Yeah, it's a really interesting and slightly different type of set to evaluate this time, it feels like. So I'm trying to think about the last time I really felt the way I do about a set as I do about Winterspell. I think it's not like the craziest set ever in terms of raw power level. Like it's not like a Floodborn or something like that that just completely transforms the game. But there's lots of meaningful reveals that should shake things up, and it feels like a really good combination of cards that solve or in some way change specific problems with the current metagame and format, and also specifically help some pretty underplayed, underrepresented, or falling off color combinations. So I think we're set for a pretty big shakeup. The reveals so far have been really exciting. It's odd to say that like the legendaries to me are like some of the least exciting cards. There are way more impactful commons and uncommons, I think. Some of the legendaries will certainly be playable, but yeah, this just feels like a very good set for filling in some of the gaps that we had before. Rather than just introducing new problems, it feels more like a set of solutions and slightly different ways of approaching the game. I'm sure within a couple of weeks we'll all be furious at whatever turns out to be unbelievably busted in this set. But for now, it feels like yeah, a bunch of good responses to cards that have been very prevalent for a long time, and yeah, a few key reveals that I think we'll talk about today that really do have the potential to change things up a lot. So yeah, I feel really positive about it. I'm very, very excited. I think just the promise to me of maybe shaking up some of these, like I love a comeback story. I love to see like a deck like even though I hated Red Blue at its peak, like the promise of Red Blue coming back to life, like I love to see it. I'm always rooting for the underdog. This is why like if it ever feels like just everything annoys me, it's because whatever's on top annoys me. I'm always rooting. My allegiance changed constantly to like whatever is the underdog and I'm always rooting for. So if Red Blue turns out to be like busted and tier 0.5 or something this set, then I'll hate it. But for now that it's on the climb, I'm a big supporter. But yeah, feels like some good stuff should come back. Some underrepresented color combinations get some key tools. I'm feeling pretty good about it on the whole. What's your view, big picture?
Yeah, I can pretty much agree. I also think it's from what we saw till now not the most. If I see through the cards, so for in preparation for this episode, I actually looked through the cards and I honestly didn't see too many powerful cards, like you said. Like it's not an issue or something, but it's like from power level it feels a bit less for sure than last set. So I could imagine the shakeup is a bit less. Um, but also, yeah, also some cards that are really powerful. We will come to that later. So shakeup will still be there, and yeah, I also was rooting for especially Ruby to get
Hmm.
powerful tools. I'm not like a super Ruby enjoyer, but it's like, yeah, it would be deserved if they get like they had only really since rotation they had only really. I mean, red purple was the best they got, like that purple last set, but that was by the most people even not considered as like tier one completely. It was like
Hmm.
a reasonable aggressive approach, but it's like it's not Ruby's. It was not Ruby's. It was just Purple's strength that made the deck basically with
Yeah,
some of
right.
the. So it was not really like a. You could play. You could play every collie combination with Amethyst last set. So, um, yeah, I was rooting for Ruby. I'm very a bit surprised honestly because for me like Amber is like extremely um they they was very nice to Amber, but it's like also deserved
Yep.
because Amber is like I think like the last 8 sets or so, it feels like never Amber was like the best color. So I think it's like
No.
they could get one set where they are the best color. I'm not like angry about that or something. I think Amber had a tough time in the past, although they had always, even if they had only I would say bad cards. They had only at least one deck somehow that was like top tier playable. Somehow they
Yep.
survived, but it's like if I see through the cards, I don't see many strong Ember cards since set one, so or two maybe, but yeah. So Ember seems very strong to me, and I think a lot
Yep.
of people
Agree.
will look on Ember in this beginning. It's like an obvious starting point for many people, I think. But also the other
Hmm.
colors got some stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. I hope, I hope, for me personally, I hope really that, yeah, we can play the game a bit differently now, and hopefully, cards like, I mean, probably Demona will still be like a super strong card looking forward, but it's like,
Yep.
hopefully we get a bit more, yeah, diversity just in like only like it felt like only amethyst matchups and then some points of blue green stuff. But it's like, yeah, just a personal thing. Okay, do we just want to start and talk about
Yeah,
our
I think
cards?
we're probably going to spend quite a long time on some of these cards individually.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot to say about some of them, so I think we'd better off just getting straight into it and
yeah.
give ourselves
S-
plenty of time.
Yes, so the first card I want to talk about, it's cards actually, because you can
Hmm.
only talk about them together, is Pocahontas with her all of her versions. Till now, by the time recording, we had three Pocahontas yet, and I basically like every three of them. I think the 5 cost Pocahontas. Every day I think about the card, I get higher and higher on the card. I think I
Mm.
really like the card. I think it's a extremely strong closer. You can be really. I rethought about it very much, and you can do crazy stuff like even like you shift quest out, and next time you can just shift on your Pocahontas again, and you can't be like this is such a. And then you can even like if you are afraid of a deck that has many abilities to deal with your stuff, you can even like sometimes if there comes a one post Pocahontas, for example, you can like play that and shift on the same turn and such stuff. And
Hmm.
just the threat of the card is very strong. And the two cost Pocahontas is a strong card. I think it's uninkable, but it's a very good aggressive card in matchups where you want to raise early. It's very strong. The three cost is not like super great, but I just thought about it, especially in combination with the two cost. I like it very much because you can like
Hmm.
give someone plus law and get that plus law with your two cost Pocahontas when you quest. So it's
Yeah.
basically plus two lore for the Pocahontas if you have that curve, and then in matchups where you can't quest in the early game, which are traditionally the blue matchups and stuff, that's really not what your opponent wants to see, to quest for a lot of lore in the early game. And that's exactly the matchups where the big Pocahontas doesn't shine in particular, because that's not the matchups where you, but there you have this aggressive opening. So I'm very hyped for the whole Amber Purple stuff. I think Amber Purple is like yeah, an obvious starting point for a lot of people because purple is strong and Amber got so many good tools. And I think the Pocahontas package could fit in there. Maybe you play a full, like they are all princesses. You could they do a princess build, but maybe it's just you put them eight in these 12 cards into your deck, and maybe they won't make the cut. Could also be. It depends also on the meta, but I'm very excited for these cards. I also think like you can play a deck like with a lot of like these Rafikis and stuff, Rafiki and Octopus Guard, and then these characters that are not meant to quest, and they stall the board because you want to have tools against aggro. But then when you shift your Pocahontas, it doesn't really matter what your characters do. You just turn them sideways, and it doesn't really matter. It's totally doesn't matter which characters they are, and that's an idea for me. Like you have these
Yeah.
these characters that stall the board, and then you shift, and yeah, I liked it. I don't know how you think about it. Um,
Yeah. I like it a lot. I really like the sort of deck you just described there, and I think it's maybe people might underestimate just quite how strong that sort of turn you've just described is. It's not the easy scenario to imagine when you think about shifting a Pocahontas is that you end the game on the spot, right? Or you quest for a critical amount, they can't challenge back, and then you do it again the next turn. But there'll be lots of times when you can have a massive shift in tempo in decks like the Amber Amethyst variants that we've seen come out in set 10. Like you say, they play these one drops, they play some things that like they can get away with questing sometimes they can't. You end up sort of gumming up the board, and you play a more grindy game with it. It plays very similarly to Blurple. It's not really an aggressive questing deck. But in the mid game, a shifted Pocahontas for an investment of 3 ink, which could be good just for upsizing your board anyway, buys you like a full, like,
it gets you
no
inevitable
drawback
lore.
turn
Yeah.
sideways.
Yes.
Yeah, you randomly gain 6 lore in the mid game, and
Hmm.
suddenly all of the math for the rest of the game is changed
Yes.
dramatically. It's very very free to do that. We'd not a lot of these decks and players indeed have got trained themselves to never do these sorts of reckless quest out turns in the mid game, even when they're slightly ahead,
Hmm.
because it completely messes up their slow progress, staying in complete control of the board. But it just creates these windows to do that. That'll probably be really really impactful. Yeah, I think that observation about Princess on all of them is really key. Because once means you can start to do like Aurora openings, that sort of thing with this deck if you want to. All your Elsas are like queens as well. So there's lots to be done with Aurora there. You can gain a fair bit of value from that. Yeah, there's probably a few different directions you could go in with it, but
What I
I think it's a little slept on. The shift is a little slept
Yeah,
on. I
for me
think
too. Yeah.
that or at least like outside of pure aggro decks, like everyone. Right, first of all, you look at purple amber and you think, right, it's like so you're imagining a hyper aggro deck, and the answer to that is like, well, no, not necessarily. It actually might still be quite grindy. We can just create windows in the mid game to gain a bunch of lore, and then we iteratively, to me, that feels like quite similar to how Green Purple used to play. That it would just find these
Yes,
turns and eke
exactly.
out some lore, and then you, from that lead, you're able to make completely different questing decisions for the
Yes.
rest of the game and keep the opponent on the back foot. It really is a very, very big shift. Like, it's
What I also
not as simple. Oh yeah, sorry, go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, what I also like is like you do this turn, like quest out, and then
Hmm.
your opponent can actually do nothing because like he
Yeah,
can't, because you start racing, your opponent can't, probably can't commit to racing, because like if he turns everything sideways, you clean up his board. But if he but he can't challenge, so basically he skips his whole turn, like you can say,
yep,
and then
they're frozen.
yeah, so
Yep,
you can really, they can, that's at least a theory. And
yep.
I think that the cost of these cards are so low to me. Like you have an inkable shift card, and these two cost Pocahontas in this is like a Banzai, and even
Yeah.
better sometimes. So I don't think these cards are high cost. The problem is only with the Pocahontas in traditional, like in the last sets of Amber
Mm,
Purple, you wanted to play Lantern and stuff. But maybe it's just more like of a tempo-based build now, where you play a lot of weenies and stuff, and also the new Nani, which we talk about later, and such
yep.
cards. But then that needs to be seen. What also is Ember Purple capable of doing? Ah, no, we come to that later. We come when we talk about the cards later.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Pocahontas, I believe in Pocahontas. It will be for sure my starting point for the new set, and for sure. But for now, I would say it's my starting point, and I believe in that idea. And yeah, I'm very excited for that. Yes. Okay, your first card.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to get this out of the way nice and early. Lots of people that I've spoken to or people that follow me on Twitter know I'm super high on Pudge.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm just going to, I don't think I need to go over this too much, but Pudge,
Oh.
two cost inkable 1/3, um, that is free. Quest for one, sorry, it's free if you have a character named Lilo and play. You can play this character for free. Um, so what are we trying to do with Pudge? There are a number of things you can do. First of all, it massively aids any kind of dump your hand, curve out aggressive build. More bodies is just more questers, and I think a lot of people, all of these things that kind of check a Pudge early game, like Rafikis and hooks, the stat line is such that when those things take one thing out, your whatever else you've played gets to just trade it right back, and I, it's not as simple as just like you turn sideways, then your opponent clears your board, and then you lose. I really do think just having like one extra body completely changes the math of what you can do on the crackback in those early turns, which I think will be pretty relevant. Um, it's it has a cost printed on it of 2, which means it supports sing together. So there are lots and lots of options to do very, very explosive sing together antics on your third turn, whether it's under the sea. Yeah, under the sea on turn 3 is probably a little too early. You might not even need to do it then. But things like Beyond the Horizon, you can now very, very realistically in multiple ways um, play that during your third turn. Just having extra bodies in play to do that and support that, I think, is very, very relevant. And just like as an extra, it's just an extra body that you're going to be able to put into play for free inside this growing, seemingly like very powerful amber core of super good aggressive characters that, yeah, to me it just looks like a slam dunk. And I think maybe the thing that people are overlooking as of the time of recording is that obviously, it has that stipulation on it. The character, you have to have a Lilo in play to play it for free. We haven't seen the Lilos.
Hmm.
They've said, we know for a fact that Ravensburger have said that this is like Winterspell is a set designed, or they've at least kept limited play and sealed deck and draft in mind a little bit more when designing this set. So they're not going to have Pudge without Lilos.
There will be a one cost for
And
sure. I'm sure about that. I don't know.
if there's a one cost Lilo, it's like it's a wrap for
That's,
me.
that's,
Like that's just like
that's
if I get to put two characters, like if I can play whatever stats are printed on the bodies, if I can put two characters into play, let's just we're not going to think about like the wild draws of you put a Lilo and four
yeah.
Pudges into play on turn one. I just want to put one into play. If you give me a way of putting two bodies into play turn one on the play, I will find a way to win that game, and I don't think I'll have to search too hard. Um, so that's really where my excitement comes from. Is just that, yeah, super explosive curve out there. I'm mostly interested in Amber Steel curving out into Dock, but it's a very, very powerful option for the Dogs decks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, just uh, extra body within that, within your early curve means faster tramps, more reliable tramps on turn 3 for the Dogs deck. I think there are a ton of interesting use cases for Pudge. I think that he was maybe a little slept on at the start, but people are quickly waking up, realizing like this fish could actually do some damage. I know you're not as high as me, or maybe those kinds of lines that I'm describing don't excite you so much, or they don't play into how you like to enjoy the game.
No,
But
no, 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 no.
objectively, like, what do you make of Pudge?
No, I try to be always objectively. I think no, 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 no. I think I'm lower on the card than you. Yes, but I'm not low on the card. But I'm
Sure.
but I'm I don't think what you it's a bold statement, but I don't think what you said is like very true. When you play this, when you have two characters on turn one, it's not by far not one, in my opinion. A complete hook in a Kaloon checks you completely. But I think that's just my feeling. But that these decks that want to play this have a hard time of managing, the hand economy, because even cards
Mm-hmm.
like Lady were cut recently from a lot of decks,
Yep.
even in dogs, because like it's so card inefficient in a way where this card does nothing basically, and it quests even for two. And if you don't have the hand size to completely, there's basically what I want to say. There's basically no deck that has infinity hand size, obviously. And
Mm-hmm.
if there would be, then it would be the best card in the game for sure. Yeah, if you had infinity hand size, then it's the best card of the game. If you don't have
Yep.
that, then it gets tricky. And then we need to evaluate a lot of stuff. Also, like when you have no Lilo sometimes, or when you draw it later in the game and such. This is not a good
Yep.
drop deck and stuff. So
For sure.
there is many things to evaluate. I will never cut a card like this off. Just for the record, I'm not low in the card. I'm lower than you.
Yeah. I
That's the only statement I make. But I could totally be like overwhelmed like after the first games and think I'm stupid. But it's like it's not easy to manage the hand economy in these decks, because like
No,
if
it's
you
not.
if you like play really, yeah, I mean, if you play a real Lilo on four of these, you basically won probably. But on the draw, not even. If your opponent plays hook into Kaloon, you lost. You just lost because you won't quest to 20 with this stuff, and then you have like one or two cards in your hand left, so you can basically ink for one more turn, and then I mean, if that's like ink and dog and stuff, okay, but then it's like straight flush in your opening hand. Um, yeah. So it's for sure a good card from the set, and I think
Yeah.
you will come up with something very powerful with this card. I have no doubt in that.
Yeah, I do concede that like I'm higher than I should be on the card, but it's just that kind of design that's very exciting to me to try and build decks with. And the drawback is so clear. Like the body does nothing. It's an awful top deck. But I want to try and solve that problem around hand economy.
That's
How can we make this explosive deck good enough? How can we create situations where just an extra body makes a huge difference to what our opponents can achieve? How do we make maximum use of a 2 cost 1/3 body that we can play for 0? Because it's objectively very strong
of
thing
course,
to
of
have
course.
to have access to. So yeah, just a matter of finding the shell to go around it, and that's really where my attention is attracted first and foremost. I think to me, like the applications in the dogs type deck, yeah, are super clear, but we'll see about Amber Steel and other such options. Yeah, I'm very, very excited to brew with it. And I think next week when we start to look at some first deck
Hmm.
lists, don't be shocked to see most most of my submissions featuring this card because that is yeah a card like that that's so obviously powerful.
Yeah,
I just
for
think
sure.
let's explore all the things we can do with it. And before I do anything else in the set, I just want to rule it out. You know, I
Yeah.
have to spend a couple of weeks with it. I have to really um, see what this how this potential actually converts into games, and yeah, work on that first, and then we can maybe once that is proven good or bad, I'll then either settle with it or move on to some other slightly fairer ways of playing the game.
Um, yes, yes. I'm excited to. I think also this is a card like could also be something for Infinity and stuff. Infinity has maybe even more
Yep.
like options like with Whole New World and stuff. I could imagine
Hmm.
a lot of um annoying things to do with that card.
Definitely.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean, if
nice.
you go to Infinity and the hand and the sort of card economy model just completely shifts.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
significantly easier to draw large quantities of cards in that format. So yeah, that's something you have to think about too. Definitely.
Yes. Speaking about cards for Infinity, um, we have the next card, which I think for me is for now like the most obvious, most powerful card yet, and that's I
Hmm.
don't know the name, how it's pronounced, like it's Akut it Emuti. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much right. Yeah.
Um, I was really surprised when I saw that card at first because I think, oh my gosh, why do you draw a card? But then I remembered it's like it's a song. Sorry for the people. It's a song that's an inkable song for 3. You pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn, and you draw a card. Obviously a powerful effect. I can imagine a lot of stuff with this card. I was very surprised in the beginning that you draw a card, but then I remember we got an effect like this in the past and it was not very powerful, and that's like the zero to hero. And maybe that's a
Hmm.
sign for we overrating a card like this. But yeah, I think that the card draw is like too good. Um, it's like a very good yeah. Um, it's so much better than zero to hero in my opinion. And
Yeah.
the card has basically a very low cost to include into your deck, like every cantrip card. And with what makes this card so strong for me is like the card that is a very low cost to include into your deck, like every cantrip card, and then it has so crazy high roll potential um, with so many cards that I
Hmm.
can't even a lot of the stuff I don't even think about now probably because I miss my yeah, there's this new angel which is a singer 3 when you're on the draw, and you could play in my Ember purple deck for instance. I could play a turn 2 genie on the draw, which is like you play on the draw before blurple your genie. How is that it's possible? um And yeah, but even if not, you have so many. Even late in the game, you I don't know. I think this card is very, very, very powerful, and I could imagine
Yeah.
this will be an evergreen in Ember decks for till this rotates out. I don't know. And also for Infinity, I think. Oh my gosh, I could even see more crazier things with this. I don't know. I'm super high on this card. I think that a card that card alone for me justifies to look on Ember like very deeply next to it. And also I think I like a bit the card design because it like really competes then with what Blurple and other
Yeah.
accelerations do, and I like that. How do you think about it?
I Yeah, I love like one shot explosive acceleration over just like everyone ramping. You know, like even the like the lantern deck is just trying to play a turn ahead forever. Um Yeah, I like this. Do one powerful thing early or have one very explosive turn. I mean, obviously, there are ways to replay this, there are ways to rebuy it. But for the most part, this is like a one shot accelerant that I think, yeah, I much prefer that design over. I love ramp decks. I love ramp decks existing, but I don't love when like the concept of when the pace of play is entirely dictated by the ramp decks and like even to the point that you play Amber for Lantern and stuff like that. It's just weird. But yeah, I think yeah, some of the thing maybe some of the things we can do with this, there are almost too many use cases to list. My favorite so far, because it's so wonky and the initial use is so do nothing that it just makes me so happy, is if you yeah, so this is like the perfect card as well for like magical Christmas land, like when you just talk about every single thing that people want to do with this card begins with I went turn 2 and I played an angel turn 1 and it lived, which is
Yeah.
already like three different things that cannot go wrong, that cannot happen before this card even gets played. But every line goes, yeah, I'm on the draw, I play angel turn 1 and I'm also holding this and holding all the cards I need. With that said, um if you sing it turn 2 with an angel, um, you can play 3 cost max goof with 1 ink left over to return it to your hand, which is one
Oh,
of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite things.
it's kind
And
of
then
do
if your
nothing.
angel, yeah,
It's so
it's
true.
so do nothing. It's brilliant. It's like turn 2, play a 2/2. It's which is fantastic to me. Like makes me so happy. But then you brought it back to your hand. So you if your angel lives, which it just never will, but let's say it does, your angel lives, you sing it again, to reduce the cost of
Shift.
shifting your max goose. So yeah, I mean you don't run out of cards because every time you play this you're redrawing. So you reduce the cost of shifting max goof by 2, um, and you shift it, and then you quest with your max goof and sing it again, which leaves you with enough ink to play a 3 drop. You end your turn 3 with an angel, a shifted max goof, and a
That's
3 drop in play. It's not so bad, but I mean, everything has
that's
to go right. A slightly less fragile line might be um, just singing it on your third turn to shift Clarabelle.
yeah, yeah,
Turn 3 shift Clarabelle feels very powerful to me,
yeah.
especially if you have some other ways of dumping your hand or, just singing your welcome or something a turn early. And yeah, crazy, very explosive openings there. Obviously, you have to look at any 4 drop because of that potential for on the draw playing on turn
Hmm.
2. So, um, aerial ethereal voice is something that hasn't quite got there before, but the tools for like steel song type decks to come back certainly look like they're there. And playing a card like that on turn 2 and then just being able to sing your thunderbolts and stuff while drawing cards with her is just wild. That feels like a very, very good opening. Lots of people will kind of goldfish in their minds the craziest things to do on turn 2 with this. I kind of look at it more often. I'm probably going to just have like wild turn 4s with it, where
Hmm.
I sing
Hmm.
it with my 3 drop and then I play a foot. On my turn 4, I play a fat 4 drop and with my 3 drop sing this and dock,
Yeah, yeah,
which
exactly.
is
Yeah.
actually,
I mean, yeah,
hold on a sec, that's
that's
a
what I meant.
nombo.
It's
That's a
like an auto
nombo.
include. It's like an auto include in because it's
Yeah,
had no real downside, and it's every deck plays characters, and what I also think, like in the worst spot, it's like a one cost basically draw a card, which is a normal cantrip effect, because with the you pay
yeah,
3, but then you pay 2 less for characters. You paid actually 1, which is
yeah.
a one cost
It's
cantrip card. Like like
yeah,
that's a very worst spot for the card. I mean, that's
yeah.
that's a top deck mode card like
It's
situation.
the way the card is templated is actually really nice in that it's not templated like just in time where you have to put the card into play immediately as part of resolving the action.
Hmm.
You resolve the action and draw the card as a part of it, so that if it's the final card in your hand, you do get a pretty good shot at drawing a character to play for free, whereby it ends up being a 1 cost cantrip, which is like say what saves it from being bricky, as you just say. But it's quite flexibly templated to make it so that like So in that line where I just said about having like a big turn four, I can sing it at the start of my turn four to draw a card that I ink, then play my four drop, then play my dock as the last card, rather than putting a dock into play with it and having to discard the card that I drew. Or
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can order them out of the bag in such a way, but yeah, it gives you a bit more flexibility. You have a lot more choices of what you can do because it's yeah, quite well templated card. This is just so powerful. In Infinity, it just goes
Yeah.
crazy. The consistency of being able to sing this on turn two with your Cindy's,
Yeah.
just I don't know how anyone gets away without playing like four Fire the Cannons in Infinity. It's just
Yeah. Bit sad.
it's going to be so explosive. I even think about lines with this of like, again, obviously it starts with Angel turn one. But let's say you do Angel turn one. Like I can Ursula someone turn two and then Mowgli them the same turn
Oh
and
yes.
just completely rip their hand apart on turn two. Um, in some cases, and
Against
yeah,
Hillsong,
I
it would
mean,
be a very good lineup
yeah,
to look
exactly.
at. Yeah, yeah.
You could pretty much end their game on the spot. And it's not like actions won't be played. There's plenty of
Yeah.
action hate, but like also the actions are super good, so you can't not play them. So yeah, I think it's a very, very high potential card. People are seem pretty universally agreed on it being one of the most powerful cards in the set, and I'm right there with them.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, nice.
Nice.
Your next one?
Yeah, my next one is grab your bow. They double
Mm-hmm.
brawl or dub brawl as I'm calling it. Um, this to me is so what I said at the beginning of the episode about cards that solve specific problems with the previous formats. This to me is like the perfect example. It's a slam dunk. I think it's very, very powerful. I like that it's uninkable because if it was inkable, it would be like so crazy. But it yeah, just for a long time, I've just wanted something that would enable some of these Ruby decks to efficiently answer back against a Genie into Elsa curve, and this is perfect. Um, Brawl type effects are something we've wanted for a while. It's fragile. Like this is flimsy. A five cost uninkable song. There's tons of ways to get it ripped from your hand. There's tons of scenarios where it might not be fantastic, but like I don't know, in a deck like red blue, I just think you're accelerating towards five cost Pete and Moana at the moment in current provisional builds, and just the turn after singing this straight away can really win you back control of the board. Uh, I love it. I love this. I love this design. I think it's. I wish it had come last set, but I think it's very needed for the game. And in the situations where this is really good, it's really backbreaking. Like if you take out it shifts what people can do within their deck building. If it sees wide play, it has an effect on deck building like Sisu had, which is you actually have to think a little bit about the amount of two strength characters you put into play, which is a really good balance against the fact that there are tons of them that are very, very good. So Genies, Elsas, seven cost tramps being the primary examples to me, I just think, yeah, this is a great way of fight for Ruby decks to fight some of what were the previous best decks in the format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it's obviously a powerful effect. Um, and it's very hard to evaluate this card for me. It's like it can be like super good. I mean, it's a good. I think I agree with everything what you said. Like it's a good effect, and it's a cool effect to exist. And even the threat of the card is probably good for a lot of situations. Um, when it comes down to how, especially how often do you play this card, and um, we had a lot of situations where even the headless horseman struggles to find targets, and this you need
Sure.
actually two targets, and then in each other case it's really bad. I can also see a lot of matchups where this card does, no, not a lot of matchups, but some matchups, not non-purple matchups, where you like green blue, for instance, where this card doesn't really do much. I mean, maybe you clean up their clearables before they shift or something, but it's like you need a singer then. You need a singer then to prevent that.
Yeah.
Um,
When you when you're forced to hardcast this, you're probably like not that happy.
yeah,
When it's, I mean, it is up to two characters, so I think like there were
Gr-
situations before when decks would let it go. They would sing "Let It Go" to get rid of a genie. And when you sing this to just kill like one genie, there are plenty of spots where that's good, and you don't feel
yeah,
bad about that as long as you sung it and you invested 0 ink to remove this genie. Like, yeah, they drew their
yeah,
card,
yeah.
but
That's
whatever,
true.
you're fine with it. Um,
But when we
but
think
it's
about,
yeah.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
yeah, when we think about, I mean, grab a sword for instance is a way more versatile card and way more like how can I say, like for more situations, not a brick. And
Mm,
this is and even grab a sword was like after set 3 or something, it wasn't played at all. So I mean, if the meta is right, this is for sure a powerful effect. I don't want to deny that.
yeah,
That's if we have still Genie Wars, and then this card will be played for sure.
yeah. Totally.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it as well. You very easily imagine a situation where this falls over into like being very bricky,
Mm-hmm.
not achieving much. Hopefully, like I see it mostly as a red blue card. I think
Mm-hmm.
that for
Makes
for
sense.
um
Yeah.
for red purple they really have to think a fair bit harder about putting something like this in the deck, even though it's on plan for them and very strong. I think that red blue has the potential to go back to playing coil shenanigans and stuff like that again. Plus having like Tipo and Cinderella as an outlet to make this feel less bricky is probably where it's at its best.
Yes, for sure. Um. Yeah. But I agree totally. It's a good card to exist in the game. Can never be bad to a
Yeah.
card like this exists. Yes. Um.
Cool.
My next card is not a card that I'm personally super high on. It's just a card that it's is talked about a lot, and
Hmm.
I'm way lower on it than the community. And that's Wana means family. Do you know?
Hmm.
This is a 3 cost
Yep.
spell. Choose a character of yours and remove every damage from it, and draw 1 card for each damage removed. This way, obviously, comparison with Rapunzel is there. Um, mm, I don't know if uh, first of all in which deck this fits, and then um, the comparison is really this card loses by a large amount to Rapunzel, in my opinion, because like the body of Rapunzel was very important for the power of the card, and but even Rapunzel, we know that was sometimes not that easy to pull off, and if we couldn't play Rapunzel just as a 2 quester, then it would be even worse. So if you draw 1 card, it's bad. If you draw 2 cards, it's a unsung friends. And if you draw 3 cards, then it really starts to shine. But it's like not really not easy to pull that off. 3 cards. Um, I mean, this card has not a very much of a deck inclusion cost. Like you can play it as a 1 or 2 of and never really is inkable and stuff. But yeah, I'm not super high on it. Like people go crazy about this card. I don't know how you feel about it. Maybe I'm too low on it. I think the body, the tempo loss is just really there for me with this card. And
Yep.
yeah, I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think this is worse than Rapunzel by like an order of magnitude.
Yeah,
The the fact that you can occasionally get more than three is great. Like sometimes you will get to draw five or something like that. You can Maui Shark this back, which is great, but then there were lots of much more consistent and varied ways of bringing Rapunzels back and replaying them in previous formats where Rapunzel really shined. I don't. This is it's far from a bad card.
yeah,
It's
of
obviously
course,
very
of
good.
course,
It
of
has
course.
there are situations where this is great, and there are situations, there are plenty of decks which engineer damage on their own characters where this really does have a chance to shine. So for a deck like Amber Ruby, for example, which really one of
Hmm.
its huge reasons it couldn't achieve anything in the past was that it just couldn't ever draw cards outside of Rapunzel. This opens this back up, but yeah, I would caution people to think a little bit about what those decks look like pre-rotation where they had Rapunzel. What Rapunzel
Hmm.
alone wasn't really enough. Just Rapunzel in Gothels was sometimes okay and sometimes didn't quite get you there. I think the deck becomes something to look at again for sure. It
Hmm.
definitely has potential, and I think some of its lines, some of its opening lines in particular, are very very cool and need some consideration. But yeah, generally I'm not super high on this. I was a little scared that I was going to need to like get 4 copies of this card when I first saw it, but that fear has sort of left me quite quickly.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No, it's
I'm
fine.
not a massive fan. I think for
Yeah,
it to shine, it sort of has to be alongside Shark, and then you're really dealing with one deck that may or may not get there. It has high chance to, but yeah, that's kind of where it begins and ends for me. Definite use cases. Often going to be a pay 3 ink, draw 3 cards, which is like sometimes great and sometimes just not an option tempo wise. So yeah,
yeah.
kind of torn. Got to see how it plays out. I think a lot of imagined lines for this card, people will realize they just can't take that much time off just to draw some cards. Maybe we kind of just need characters that draw cards on play. That's where we're at now. You have to contest the board while drawing cards, and even though 3 ink isn't a huge investment, I'm still a little concerned. I don't know. It might be too low on it. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but
Yeah,
I
I might,
don't see too many situations where I feel super jazzed to just do this. And yeah, I don't know.
I might in general, I have to say in general, I'm high on cards like this where you, because really much for me means a lot that it's inkable, and in general I like
Yep.
cards that are inkable and have like a very explosive punishment or effect, or how you can say that. So the deck inclusion cost of this is really low, and I could imagine going forward, maybe if we have strong Ember decks in the meta game, maybe they just play this as a one or two or for like open deck lists or something, and then people will play differently against you because they know this card exists and it's an inkable. You will probably then ink it like 80% of the time, but yeah, I mean that's probably okay. So that's the only upside for the card for me, that it's like a Punisher effect for an inkable card, and that's generally
Yeah.
always a good sign. But yeah, if the punishment is good enough, that's the question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing we really have to keep in mind, right? Is that we can't forget the lessons of the past about what Rapunzel taught us, which is that the existence of Rapunzel and the fact that it was indexed completely changed every decision that most
Yeah.
decks made after turn 3. Every board was like pseudo frozen. If there was anything with 3 strength in play, you could never turn it sideways if they had something with greater than 3 willpower in
Hmm.
play. If they had a 1/4 and you had like a 3/4, they could never quest with their 3/4, which sounds absurd, but you couldn't. You couldn't turn it sideways because they trade in, they take their 3 cards, and you find yourself so woefully far behind in the game. Um, that situations like that could very much emerge again. The first time you ink one of these, you get to live rent free in your opponent's head. That has to count for something. Yeah, if it sees widespread play, which it could because it's an efficient card draw engine in a deck in a color that we know is getting tons of love and has the potential to become like very very widely played, one of like the dominant colors in the format. So if it's widely played, it will have a warping effect on what we can do, which is it sounds weird to say that after being like, nah, I don't really care. But that's kind of like what Rapunzel was, right? Was Rapunzel was very, very efficient, but we were never like, I don't know now. No, someone. I was going to say we were never calling for Rapunzel to be banned or anything, but someone will check the receipts. I've definitely said Rapunzel
Yes.
should be banned in the past. Yeah, there's probably like There's probably like at least 20 instances
You
of me being
said,
like, this disgusting card just
at
warps
least you said,
everything about the
please
game.
don't
So
reprint it. Please don't reprint it. That's what I
yeah, I did.
remember.
I
Yeah.
definitely said that. I definitely said that a bunch. So just ignore everything I've said, really. Yeah, maybe this is great. Like this is like this is one of those cards that has an outside effect on how we play the game versus what the card actually does. You
Hmm.
can't evaluate it just on the text on the card. If it sees wide play, it could really shift a lot of decision making within the game, which I really like. Um, I really like that about cards like Rapunzel until that way of thinking has
Warps the
gone
whole
on for too
format.
long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the first format you play with a card like this feels really refreshing because a lot of the decision making is different. There are ways to punish players that don't effectively play around this stuff. And then it just starts to feel like, okay, what I can do is governed by this card, and I don't like that restriction anymore. Everyone knows how to play around it, and we just simply have to play around it. Then it starts to become less fun. So yeah, if this is really good, we'll get a great format for one set, and then it'll be miserable after that. So that's that's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we will see. I think it's also a cool card, but I was just a bit surprised that the community is so high on it. But we will see.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
I think anytime you have a parallel to a previously dominant card
Yeah,
like this has the obvious parallel. Like people will be high on it. It's
yeah,
much.
yeah.
I think it's safer to consider that card good than it is to say it's not playable, right? Like
Yes, that's for sure.
it,
That's for
there
sure.
there is precedent for that effect being very good at least. So yeah, for the time being, we'll consider it to be pretty good.
Yes.
Cool. Should I do my next one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So my next pick is Nanny Stage Manager. 3 cost Amber 3/3 quest for one. It's a hero with the ability when you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card with cost 2 or less and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This to me, in these kind of aggressive Amber type decks, or it doesn't even have to be that aggressive, is just a slam dunk. Like a 3 cost 3/3. Um, it's a strong sort of that's your base rate. Maybe it's a little below the current base rate, which is 3 for a 3/4. But it's a versatile sort of singer that you can play, and fits that curve really nicely where you just want any 3 cost body that doesn't fall over to a stiff breeze to be active to sing. It finds you something very reliably in a lot of these decks. One of the first things I've noticed with putting these amber decks together in initial drafts is that there is a huge density of 2 drops that we've got a lot to choose from now. So the decks that play and those decks that are pursuing that strategy will probably have a pretty high density of 2 drops anyway. So you're very frequently finding something with this. So all of that to basically just say that this find effect is reliable. Um, yeah, if we had a 3 cost 3/3 that drew a card on play, it would be a good card, right? So
Yes.
this is occasionally better. And for a lot of these, so think about Amber Steel in particular, it's one of those decks where finding a dock versus not finding a dock often makes the difference between a won game and a lost game. This takes you 4 cards deeper to find
Hmm.
that. I think that's really, really crucial. If you get to like your 4th turn and Doc isn't showing up, it's that card economy issue really hits you and completely warps what you can do. And this it's the be our guest type effect,
Hmm.
stapled to a body. It really helps tie up some of those problems. I think very very high on this one. I think it's a fair card that is it's very powerful in a fair way. Um, and even though it's super fair, it kind of is best at supporting slightly unfair strategies.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with like. I hope it's not too fair. That's what I
Mm,
hope. Because like it like loses to every 3 drop in the game basically on board. So
yeah,
at least every 3 drop that was played last set, or 4 drop. Like if your opponent plays a genie and you play this, then yeah. But it's like It's for sure a cool card, and I can see. Yeah, it depends on many things. I think it's 3 drop 3 draw a card is a good card basically. Yeah, it's better than
Yeah.
Maleficent or something, and yeah, it needs to be seen if it's too fair. But I would, I hope actually that it's a good card in the meta game because I
Mm,
like fair cards, and I like cards that are consistent, and hopefully it's a good card. Um, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
totally. I think, yeah, I will say in light of that, I certainly like a lot of the time am way higher on good fair cards than I should be.
Mm-hmm.
I I, I went to a
Me
set I
too.
went to a
Me
set
too.
championship this week. Yeah, I mean that is one thing that like people that listen to us every week, if you're going to be critical of any
Yeah.
of our perspectives on the game, it should be that one. We were raised in a world where fair cards were king,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we have struggled to shake that. I think sometimes to our detriment, struggled to shake that off. Case in point, I played a set championship this weekend with a green purple deck I threw together that was just full on fair green purple with Prince Philip combo at the top end. And it was so unbelievably poor that I was like, what am I doing? Every single game I sat down and I started playing and I was like, okay, Ursula, you take one song. And everything my opponent did on every turn was better. They either played the same purple cards as me one turn ahead, or they played the same green cards as me one turn ahead. And I was just like, Hades, your big guy. Like, who cares? I'm about to combo you next turn. Like, it was just a miserable experience where I really had to like take stock of some of the ways that I think about this game and like how much you can grind out with fair cards like has changed. So I have to be critical of my own thoughts about cards like this where so look at the 3 drop slot in decks like Amber Steel Aggro, for example. I personally am quite low on cards like Tiana, which are narrow, can even feel weirdly bricky sometimes, but enable incredibly powerful runouts that sometimes your opponent just
Mm.
cannot interact with. Um, my school of thought is to favor a card like Nani over that. That might be a way outdated way of thinking. I have to challenge it a little bit and see. You maybe have to like consistency isn't king in this game anymore. The consistency
Yeah.
isn't the ultimate thing to pursue.
It depends.
Blowouts and wildly explosive stuff are king.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
At least
basically
it
the
feels
story
that
of
way.
my. That's basically the story of my identity crisis thing. Yeah. Like always I search for the fair thing, and fair thing is not king,
Yeah.
and but it also is like you cannot deny that
Yeah.
that Blurple is a consistent deck, and kind of.
Yep.
I mean, you can say it's unfair because it ramps, but outside of the ramping, it's not very unfair. Like you do nothing really broke. Yeah, I mean, you do no clarable stuff, and I mean that's an unfair deck. Like the blue green players, I
Yeah.
don't think they deserve joy in their life, but um, no, no. Please listen. If you play blue green, I love you all. Okay, but you need to rethink about. No, forget it. I think it's people understood that it's a joke. Hopefully,
Yeah,
uh,
you hope. You really hope.
you think the same.
I actually have I, I sort of do and sort of don't. I've watched Green Blue lose to itself so many times that I think, yeah, I think that it's the inherently unfair deck. But I think I don't know. Like local to me, the people that play it are actually cool. Like the individuals that play it, I really enjoy talking to. So
I
that's helped me
like
soften on the
everyone who
deck a little
plays
bit.
that. You know what I'm googling? I'm googling now. I'm googling now a term that I search, and it's I have a guilty conscience now. A guilty
Yes,
conscience.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a guilty conscience. I feel sorry. I feel sorry. I love you all. Okay, but
Let's move on.
let's move on.
Next card.
Next card. Speaking of fairness, and this card is on not only because I want to because I want to talk about the card, but also because of another reason. It's copper. It's
Mm,
the closest thing to Maui we ever had, and it's a 6 cost, 8/5 rush reckless. I mean, everyone who's not reminded on Maui is yeah. If we have not a high evasive meta game, I think this is a very strong card, like Maui always was. Um,
yep.
and but the additional thing, which I just want to mention today, is that copper and the other cards like Todd are from one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's The Fox and the Hound. Please, everyone, if you didn't watch the movie yet, Fox and the Hound, it's such a beautiful movie, and I'm so excited that we get these cards actually. And for Todd, there's always some good Todds, but we have one Emerald Legendary left, and I have very much hopes that this is one of this franchise. I would really hopeful, and that would be really cool. And but for now, I'm going with this. No, I just want to talk about the card because it's also like a Maui. What do you think? Has Maui a spot in the future? I like Maui. I say copper now, but it's like um,
I, I, I mean, you made the most important point, which is that it totally depends on the number of evasives in the
mhm,
format. If the format is still like largely dominated by evasives, so if you think about Genie, Elsa,
yeah,
Prince Philip, the Shifted Philip, which is like, which is the once your opponent has comboed you, it's kind of like it has that feeling of when they would in the past slam a location after playing Be Prepared, right? You've the board is clear and they have something that you need to deal with right away, which was like that was Maui. Maui excelled at that. That was Maui just loved smashing locations on empty boards and just when they're facing a single threat, perfect. Copper would not do anything to solve that problem. You can't just crack back and trade in with their Philip
yeah,
because so much of this stuff has evasive, which is really a real drawback.
yeah.
One thing that I do like about it that's worth drawing attention to, if it is a low evasive format, um, it's at least relevant that Copper is a hero because
Mhm,
if you play it with Hercules in
yeah,
play, um, and you just set up a situation where opponent can't turn anything sideways because this will just live through smashing everything turn after turn. That feels like it could be something, but it can only be something in an environment
mhm,
where that's not dominated by evasives. So for me, it all comes down to like how much of a policing effect does the double brawl have on Genie Elsa? How much do the explosive openings of the amber decks make it so that
mhm,
decks like Blurple don't feel as good? Yeah, basically, are you still going to be able to play decks like Blurple that don't have access
mhm,
to sweepers, that rely on one for oneing you forever? Maybe not. All
mhm,
these things will
mhm.
have to be determined. Like on paper, Copper is a fantastic card, but if you look at the current the it wouldn't be good in the
It wouldn't
previous
be good.
format. So
It wouldn't be
it's
good.
all
Yeah.
about how much do things change. We need right now, like the signals are there that positive changes that would make copper better
Mhm,
might be coming. Like that we very much could see that. And the cards we've got could push us in a direction where the things currently squeezing them out are not so good. So yeah, totally has to be seen how this all plays out because like Genie is not going to go away. Like
yeah. I
regardless of how many brawl effects you print, Genie is just is still going to be the pillar of the format until you staple Horseman Strikes onto a 3 drop.
Yes.
A 3 drop character that Horseman Strikes when it comes into play. Give me that, please. Make it green and call it Kick Cloud Kicker Genie Killer, and
No, I
then
would
you've
also
got me for
doubt it
life.
more. I would also doubt it more that copper is like good. I wanted just to show it because like the movie is great and you should all watch it. And because it's a new Maui and I like new Mauis and could see play at some
The,
point.
it's a really good card to sort of put a spotlight on because, like we were just talking about with Ohana and its parallels to
Mm-hmm.
Rapunzel, which we all know was a pillar of previous formats. Well, Maui was also a pillar of previous formats. So this card is a high power. There are high parallels there. It's slightly worse because of that 6 cost, even though you get more strength. Um, so yeah, this at least serves as a great example of the precedent of a card being good in previous formats does not guarantee it's good in future ones, but you should always be looking at it at least a bit to
Mm-hmm.
work out like, is this environment going to support this? We know that this effect can be good if the conditions are right. So yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on. If things change enough, then it becomes very good, I think.
Yes. Nice. Your next card?
Yeah, I have to consult my list. Yes. Um, my next one is Keep the Ancient Ways. This is
Mm-hmm.
the Pete effect stapled to a song. I don't think this one needs too much analysis. I don't think it is like straight up broken because like Pete is pretty balanced effect. I more just want to draw attention to the fact that if you want to play a steel deck that just seeks to either an aggro type deck or a tempo type deck that goes wide, fast, or plays a steel song type game plan where you just make sure you stay ahead on board early, and then the only real thing that can take care of you is a sweeper. You more more effects that prevent that from happening make those strategies a lot more viable. So if you wanted to play a deck, there are certainly decks that would like willingly play 8 Pete effects in certain metagames. Is the metagame we're going into going to be one of those? I don't know. Is it better to have this effect on an action better than having it on a character? Again, completely like unknown, I think. But the fact that you have redundancy in this effect and multiple ways to protect stuff, or just completely lock your opponent down. I mean, there are use cases like being an action or being a song means you can rebuy this with a small max goof, you can replay it with a shift max goof. There, it's not hard to imagine being able to put your opponents in permanent peat locks. The question is, how much does that achieve? If I'm locking my opponent out of actions every single turn after a certain point in the game, that's cool. It massively limits what they can do. But like, if they just keep slamming genies, and it doesn't really progress me towards victory. So I think for me, the most compelling use case that I can see so far is that we could realistically, you can gain, because it's a song, you can gain this effect for an investment of 0 ink. Um, so, sing it with something like a pudge when you're super wide and your opponent's only out is under the sea. I like that. Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I like accessing this effect for those critical turns without investing ink versus playing a 3-3-1 just to do it. If I can still play, if I can use my ink to develop more aggressive characters than Pete is, while still having this effect for a turn to protect me on a turn where an action would wipe the board, I think that's a slam dunk. I'm not going to get into the applications for Infinity because I think this goes nuts, Infinity. Um, but yeah, it feels obviously powerful to me. What do you think?
I'm not too high on it, honestly. I mean, for Infinity, it's better, but I don't. I would be really surprised if this. I don't think it's very good for construct. I don't know. Maybe it's better than I think. Another like patch a bit. Like you have don't have the hand economy to play like just to do nothing cards. I don't know. Maybe I'm too low on it. At least in the last formats, this card would not be playable. I think. I don't know. Even Pete
Mm,
was not playable, and then this is for me. I know you can play it for 0 ink, but Pete is still the better card. I think. I don't know. It's like. Mm, it, it 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 has so many situations where this card does actually nothing, like nothing. It has
yeah,
really
sure.
only in these critical turns where you really want to prevent an under the sea, and that's in very limited matchups and in very limited situations where you need to exactly have that card. And a lot of steel decks are now stockpiles where these cards doesn't really fit in as well because like Pete
Mm,
is bad in these stock decks because like Pete is a card you in the past you played it in like Rabbit Purple Steed or something where you can keep this Pete for situations where you need it, but these stockpiles want to dump their hand and then play a dog, and then you never have this card basically in the situations where you need it, and then I would be really surprised if they see this a lot of constructed play. Maybe I'm too low on it. It can
yeah.
be really be that I'm too low on it. I don't see many use cases for except under the sea. I mean, if we get a board wipe or something, of course, maybe it's oops, sorry. Maybe it gets better, but it's hmm, maybe I can be really too low on that, but that's just my first impression. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's completely valid. We probably don't need to spend too much longer on it than that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the it could be way worse than I expect it to be. And it could just be, this is one of those things that, again, kind of like I was saying at the beginning of the episode, there are a bunch of cards that just add to a toolkit that can be used to fight certain metagames, which I think is really good. Just having responsive tools that you can use if certain things get out of control, because it's felt like some of that has been lacking in the
Hmm.
past. And it's more of like just knowing that this exists means that we have, yeah, it's one more thing in the tool belt that we can pull out if very specific conditions occur where, I don't know, some of these song decks just go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, especially, for example, if you play against Purple Steel, you want to prevent them from strength. Yeah, then you play this. Then your
Yep.
opponent thinks, okay, yeah, okay, -1. I think next turn. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't think that's a very good way of preventing like people from singing strength or something. Again, like a card, if you have infinite cards in the hand, then it's like the best card in the game. But it's like Pudge a
Yeah,
bit.
sure.
But I
Maybe
can be
that's why
really
I
wrong.
like it. You see, in my imagination, I never run out of cards. I'm always holding
That's
60
good. Yeah.
cards, and
Please
I
teach
think,
me.
brilliant.
Please, please teach
Yeah,
me.
I know. No, we need to
Um,
learn some sleight of hand techniques if you want to do that.
yeah.
And the story might not end too well based on based on past cases we've seen at DLC. So maybe that's not a skill that's worth developing.
Yes. Yeah, it's for sure a powerful effect, but we need to see.
Yep.
Yes. My next one
Cool.
is I'm really interested in your opinion because I'm really not sure about it.
Mhm.
It's Colors of the Wind. It's a new Pocahontas song, which says each player reveals the top card of the deck. Draw a card for each different ink type of cards revealed this way. So this card can draw you basically from one card to, I mean, it could theoretically draw you four cards, but that's like probably never happening. Um,
Mhm.
but I think in average it will draw you two, probably sometimes even three. Three is possible. Um, but it's yeah, I don't know. It's a singable card draw song, which is for sure good. And people, I'm higher on it than the community. I think I don't know. I always say the community. What is the community? I saw some people talking about the card and saying it's bad. I don't think it's necessarily bad. People say it's like worse than strength, and then I see okay, that's not a real like reason for me because it's obviously worse than strength, but strength was broken. Like strength was really broken. And if it's like worse than
Yeah, like
strength,
every card is worse than strength.
yeah, yeah.
Every card.
No, no, not strength. Sorry, I meant friends. I mean friends.
Okay. Yep.
It's worse than friends. But then I say,
Yes.
yeah, friends is a broken card. You can't compare. I mean, you can compare this to friends, but n- just because it's worse than friends doesn't mean it's like not playable. Because friends would
Hmm.
be very much playable right now, and yeah, I don't know. Do you think this card has a chance? I see like also like in a maybe amber purple pile where you play like Ursula Vanessa or something, and maybe it's also a bit fair of a card and you don't need it, or you can draw more efficient cards. I don't know. I can also like you have a lot of singers like Gene or Elsa or something are cool to sing this. Um, Do you think this has a chance?
It has a chance in the sense that it is a singable card draw card.
Yeah.
So there is a floor on that, and more often than not, you are going to go plus cards on this. Sometimes you're going to draw one, and I reckon you're going to draw one probably a lot more often than you care to imagine. Um,
Yeah,
Sometimes
maybe.
you're going to draw three. Sometimes you will draw three. That's possible. I think one will happen more often than three, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, I'm not high on the card. I do think that, like, I love the idea of a deck that sings this with Ursula Vanessa because it's my kind of very fair thing to do with a card like that. This would be a great example of fair thinking going too far in our heads. In my opinion,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that
maybe that's right.
if you're
Yeah.
s- if you're really excited to play a card like this, um, like I don't think you should be. I think it's fine. It's almost the definition of fine, and fine isn't good enough at the moment. It would be my summary.
A song is never fine, but, but most of the time. But it's yeah, you're right. Probably you're probably right. We don't need to talk about it anymore. I'm stupid.
No, you're not stupid because it's. Uh, I think that like drawing two, uh, we don't know. There's no way to work out the. First of all, it's almost virtually impossible to work out the math on this card anyway, and it's especially impossible until we see what the format looks like. Um, I reckon you're drawing two 75% of the time, one 15% of the time. No, that's too high. I don't know. I'm not even going to try. Just consider this to be four cost friends. I think 80% of the time we're drawing two
Yeah.
would be my guess. And I don't think four cost friends is bad. So
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. Needs to be
it's
seen.
good. It's a very fair card. Um, it's a fixed friends.
And fast, what do you want to do,
It could
right?
eat. Yeah, well, fair's what you want to do,
No,
but it's
not
not what everyone
anymore.
else is doing. So that might be a
It's
problem.
a new
No,
year.
and
I
you're not.
made like new goals, you know. I'm stopping the
Yep.
fair stuff. I'm playing green blue now.
Ooh.
No,
Well,
I
no
don't know.
joy in your life then. No wonder you were telling everyone to watch Fox and Hound.
Oh man, I hope this sentence doesn't haunt me. Okay.
Oh, I've
Um,
said I've said much worse things to
yeah,
players of
okay, yeah.
different decks. I think you'll be totally fine.
Yeah,
If it
maybe.
make you feel better, I'll insult players of a different deck. Who would you know?
Okay, do you have another one? I have one left.
Yeah, so I am gonna whip through a couple if that's all right, real fast. Um, John Smith, Undaunted Protector. This is the five cost John Smith that says it must be
Hmm.
chosen for actions and abilities. I am completely unsure how good this is, but I
Hmm.
just wanted to draw attention to the fact
That's a
that
cool design, yeah. Um, I also
you
thought about,
you
sorry, yeah.
no, I was just going to say that you there are so many things that are out there that you would have to target this with, but I particularly wanted to draw attention to the fact that with the Cheshire Cat boost ability, you have to choose this card for both ends of the effect, which
Oh,
completely turns it off,
okay, yeah. I didn't
which
think
is
about
some
that, yeah.
that's something. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. A very interesting card. I like the design, and I think it's a cool thing to exist. I have no idea how playable it'll be,
Hmm.
but once again,
Yeah,
it
it
joins
depends a
that
lot of
roster
stuff.
of tools. Yeah, there's a lot of depends going on, which is like kind of the theme for reveal season. Plenty of depends when it comes to evaluating cards, but yeah, this is
Uninkable
really one
hurts.
that yeah, it hurts it a lot because when a card is in the depends bracket of it's good in some situations and
Yeah.
bad in others, it then loses the right to be uninkable because
Hmm.
you can't play uninkable cards that are bad in some scenarios. Um, as an inkable, like maybe this would be too good. Maybe it would be completely fair, but I think as it stands right now, I don't really see a way to play it. But I love the design. I love it exists. I love that we have options to do things like turn off some of these more powerful boost effects, which is cool.
Yes.
Uh, ne- the next one I'll do really quickly before you go to your last one is Eeyore in the Way. This was got revealed by a couple of friends of mine, um, the local creators, Inquiry. It's Chris and Carenza. So yeah, they did a reveal for this. They went to a donkey sanctuary,
And
that's super close to where I live, and I've been to lots of times. It's actually a fantastic place. They like bring donkeys from all over the world there that have been super neglected and overworked, and it's at times a hard place to be, but they do incredible work. It's a really, really nice place. Um, a nice sort of to be able to go there. So they went and did that because your donkey, of course, go see all the donkeys. Which is not why I wanted to talk about the card. I wanted, but I'm still
I.
going to bring it up. I wanted to talk about it because, again, this is something where like I just love that this counts for all exerted
hmm
characters. I like that you can do, you know, so thinking about cards like Demona that lock down your opponent's whole board obviously make this a ton cheaper right off the rip. You could easily get to situations where you play this for 0 in gummed up boards that you Demona. Doing so might be bad. It might backfire if you Demona them and then quest out to gain a free Eeyore. That is certainly a powerful turn, but might not be that good for you if they just ready their stuff and then challenge into you. It has great use cases with like the Pocahontas turn that you were talking
hmm
about, where
hmm
let's say you're racing a little bit and you're trying to get ahead on board, and then you shift your Pocahontas to enable a completely free quest out turn, or a completely free challenge turn with no crackback. That's the other powerful thing for Pocahontas is you don't have to quest. You can just take positive challenges and have no punishment on the go back. So set up a nice board, make maximum use of that, and then play it really cheap. I think this is a well-designed card that's very cool and thematically cool as well. So I just wanted to draw attention to it. That certainly has some use cases. It's probably easier than we might imagine to play this for like 3. I think playing this
I
for
think
3
it's
actually won't be
even.
that tough for some of these Demona decks.
Yeah, I think it's sadly much overcosted for me. Like, yeah, this is the definition of a win war
Yeah,
card for me. Like, this is
yeah, it is a
um,
bit, isn't it? Yeah.
um, and to zero is a real task. I don't think that happens often. Uh, that's like,
I like playing
uh,
characters for 0.
yeah, yeah, you like that, yeah, and
I
for
won't
reason,
I won't
for a reason.
apologize for that.
I
I
would
won't
like that
apologize
too.
for dreaming of playing characters for 0.
If it's
Yeah, we would all like it.
if this costs, no, I don't think that's. I'm hopefully like get teach the lesson, get taught a lesson, but I don't believe in that card, sadly.
No, fair enough. I just wanted to flag it because I think it's cool design. I think it's something that
That's
might
totally
be easier to
reasonable.
set up than people think. Yep.
That's also the exactly same reason for my last card, because I don't think
Hmm.
that's super playable, but I like the card design, and that's Snowfort. It's a three
Yep.
cost emerald item, which says your characters get +1 strength, and during your opponent's turn, your characters gain resist +1. Which are two very relevant effects. And then that's exactly the card design I like about items or even like locations. Why do they not print such stuff on locations where I think, okay, that's really threat diversity then. And then, but all these locations don't do nothing for border, and that's what I have a what I complain about locations, because I really think again locations won't make the cut, at least not what I saw till now. Um, and effects like this I really like. I think you can't make this card much stronger, or it would be really playable. Uninkable hurts this
Mm.
card a lot, but I think both effects are very relevant. I think this comes very close to a, I don't want to say like a Comic Con, but this has also defensively some. I think I just saw this card and I liked it, and I like the card design. I just want to encourage them to print more cards like this to get us more useful items and locations. I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really nice to see like static board affecting abilities like this, like just the Lumiere effect on something that can't just randomly be Elsered. There are some decks with absolutely no way of dealing with items, and this will just shift things up for like the whole game for you. And the effect of resist on opponents' turns is just something that in general I'm pretty high on. I
Mm-hmm.
think I love that it's just this great one-sided effect that doesn't reward challenging at all. It purely rewards you when you're questing and makes it harder to clean up your questers. And this is really nice design. This is just those two effects in conjunction with each other of like, okay, it's now significantly harder for your opponent to find good trades.
Yeah.
And if they want to find good trades, they're going to have to find a way of killing an item. So I don't know if I would class it as. Yeah, I'm not putting it in the same arena as Chromicon because Chromicon is a uniquely powerful card, but this definitely does a lot. It's one of those cards that a lot of people won't think about too much initially because it's not powerful in a vacuum. You read
Mm-hmm.
this and you
Mm-hmm.
think, so what?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
In
yeah,
the
yeah.
context of a game, it's going to do a lot more than you imagine. So yeah, love it. Would definitely encourage that sort of design. Completely agree with what you say about locations. Like they will do nothing to affect the board, and then they will just die instantly. So yeah,
Yeah.
design like this would go a long way on locations and things like that as well. But I love it on an item. I think items are the hardest type of card to
Mm-hmm.
remove.
Mm-hmm.
They demand the most
Yeah,
narrow answers. Uh, so
I,
cool,
ju-
love it.
I just imagined, like, if you play go Calhoun, for instance, and play this on three, oh my gosh, it's so annoying. Your Calhoun is resist two, and then it can also like challenge on your turn for four, and there are so many other cards. I
Yep,
mean, even like in this evasive wars, if you play this in green purple, imagine you have two of yeah. I mean, two is very slow, but your genies and Elsas and stuff get all better, and also
yep,
very hard to remove because yeah, I think it's a for sure a strong effect. I think
yep. This definitely like a lot of people will see this spoiler and move on with their life. This definitely does something.
yeah,
It's not the do nothing card it might appear to be at first glance. Yep, cool.
nice. Okay, I think I'm done with my cards. How are you? Are
Yeah,
there any
I think that's me
worth
done for
mentioning?
now. We've got we've got a few still to come, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure next week when we start to look at some decks, we can cover any specific cards that are spoiled between now and then um, in more detail then. But for now, like, yeah, I guess that's probably about it for me. Super high on Amber Steel variants.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited to start exploring them. Really keen to see if like Dogs is just straight up better than everything I tried to brew.
Yeah,
I'm scared it will be. Um,
maybe.
and yeah, just seeing how much, seeing how much some of these new things like the double brawl, like how much does this actually like suppress dog decks? Is it any good at all, or does it just get Ursula and do nothing? We'll see. But yeah, it's certainly an exciting time. I think the I'm more excited to build decks this set than I have been for the last couple, which is a really good sign. So I think yeah,
Me
just going to
too.
enjoy the week ahead and then come equipped with some week one decks. And I think let's challenge ourselves this time. Let's actually
Yes.
try to put some different things together and let's see who backs the right horse. Let's see whose deck. I'm not going to say that like we create a deck and then it becomes tier one because people all have the same ideas at the same time. You can't
Yeah,
attribute
yeah,
anything to anyone. But I want my week one choice to go the distance. And yeah, let's pitch
like
ourselves
always.
against each other and see who can. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and
Yes.
we'll see who is king of the brews.
Yes. Nice. Okay.
Cool.
Then yeah, let's next week we will get you with some deck lists. I think we will
Yep.
hopefully be everything revealed this week, and then next week you can be excited for the first ArtaCast brews of this great masterminds of Lorcana. Yeah. So, do you have anything to
Oh,
add?
I have what? Yeah, I have one more thing. Just to add on the end. As of this week, uh, we are just finalizing right now, but think it's all but confirmed that I'm going to be casting at the CCQ in Leicester,
Nice.
that's being run by Axion now. At the end of February, um, it's going to be a very, very good event. The Axion goes all out to massive diversity of side events for players of all levels and all ages. It's something for everyone to enjoy. So please come along, get your tickets for that. I'm going to be there, do some casting, and would love to see as many listeners as possible and get a chance to say hello. So yeah, do come along to that. It's being held in the Leicester City football stadium, which is a crazy venue for a card game tournament. I'm very excited to get to commentate a tournament in that environment. So yeah, really looking forward to that one
Nice.
and looking forward to getting to meet people there. If you're not making it all the way out to Ghent, but you are local to the UK or very nearby, yep, I'll be there commentating some games. So yeah, come say hello. As always, I love to chat with all of you as much as I can. I'll see you there on the day.
Very cool. Very cool. Nice. Yeah, cool. So we can all be excited for the future and for this set. I'm very excited. Yeah, with that being said, we can wrap up, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Then thanks everyone for watching. Till next week and bye bye.
Bye bye.